Often brushed aside in serious shooting circles, the 25 Automatic Colt Pistol, also referred to in Europe as the 6.35mm Browning, stirs up a wide range of reactions. Descriptions like tiny, obsolete, and even underpowered get thrown around a lot, and you'll hear some folks outright label it as useless. Still, there's a loyal camp that defends its strengths for deep concealment and discreet carry, while critics mock it as little more than a novelty piece. But if you take a deeper dive, you'll find that this small round carries a legacy and technical background that runs a whole lot deeper than the surface level takes would suggest. Get ready to dive deep into the world of the 25 Automatic Colt Pistol, a round that's often misunderstood but built on brilliance. In this journey, we'll unravel how John Moses Browning, the same mastermind behind legends like the Browning automatic rifle, the 1911, and the high power, came up with a compact centerfire cartridge designed to fix the shortcomings of rimfire pocket guns. Despite lacking the ballistic muscle of bigger rounds, it still earned respect from European officers who valued its concealability. We'll follow its path as it became the go-to caliber for low-cost handguns, infamously called Saturday Night Specials, and dig into how the ring of fire manufacturers swamped the American market with pistols chambered in this tiny round. On top of that, we'll spotlight its surprise cameos on the silver screen and ask whether modern hot loads, like the Buffalo Bore 60-grain hardcast round, have given it a new lease on life as a viable backup for personal defense. You might think you've got the 25 Automatic Colt Pistol all figured out, but there's more beneath the surface. Whether you're into firearms history, mechanical design, or just the oddities of old-school calibers, stick around. This is going to be a ride worth taking. Back in 1905, John Moses Browning introduced this centerfire cartridge as a solution for a problem few had addressed properly: how to make a tiny pistol actually reliable. He paired it with a pocket pistol manufactured by Fabrique Nationale, sold in Europe under the name FN Model 1906, sometimes called the FN Model 1905. It ran a basic blowback action, simple, no frills, and packed just enough punch in a compact package to be worn inside a coat or vest pocket. Back then, shooters could choose the .22 long rifle, but the rimfire ignition system wasn't cutting it when it came to defensive dependability. Browning's move to a centerfire primer fixed that issue, making this cartridge far more consistent under stress. The round itself measured around 6.35mm by 16mm semi-rimmed, which allowed it to be chambered in pistols built for close-range use and maximum concealment. The original FN pistol found success fast, inspiring other firearm makers to follow suit. In the United States, we got the Colt Model 1908 vest pocket, which was heavily based on Browning's blueprints. Both guns were striker-fired, ran in single-action mode, and held 6 rounds in a single-stack magazine. This little round carved out a niche in the early 20th century for being the right balance of compact and capable. Sure, it wouldn't stop a charging bear, but it was miles ahead of nothing at all when discretion was key. Folks back then didn't want to carry bulky revolvers, and flashing a weapon wasn't always an option. The 25 Automatic Colt Pistol offered a way to be armed without drawing attention. Browning's design laid the foundation for decades of micro-pistols to come, securing the round's place in gun culture, not for brute force, but for pure stealth and reliability. One of the more unusual traits of the 25 Automatic Colt Pistol is its semi-rimmed case design, a rarity in the world of handgun cartridges. Unlike rimless options like the 9mm Luger or fully rimmed rounds, such as the 38 Special, the 25 ACP has a subtle little lip around the base. It sticks out just enough to help with proper head spacing inside the tight quarters of a small blowback pistol chamber. This slight rim also means with a few tweaks, it can even be run in some revolvers. Back in 1905, John Moses Browning wasn't designing for perfection. He was designing for practicality. He needed a way to get reliable breech alignment in tiny, simple pocket automatics, many of which were made with looser tolerances than we'd accept today. That minimal rim gave the breech a point to grab onto, helping with consistent ignition in guns that weren't exactly precision machined. Of course, there's a downside: rim lock. Anyone who's fiddled with older 25 automatic Colt pistol magazines knows the pain when the rim of the top round gets hung up on the rim below it. That causes feeding issues, and while it's rare in quality guns or clean mags, it's something collectors need to watch out for with vintage pistols. Nowadays, modern handgun cartridges are almost exclusively rimless, simply because they feed more smoothly in semi-automatics. So sure, the semi-rim design may feel a bit like a throwback, but in its time, it worked, and it's a defining feature of the round to this day. Now let's talk about performance. And yeah, this is where things get a little controversial. The 25 automatic Colt pistol isn't exactly known for hitting like a freight train. Legendary gun writer Lieutenant Colonel Jeff Cooper once joked, "Carry a 25 if it makes you feel better, but never load it. If you load it, you might shoot someone, and they might just get angry enough to hurt you." Brutal, but it drives the point home. Let's break it down. Factory ammo usually sends a 35 to 50 grain bullet downrange at around 750 to 900 feet per second. That gives you muzzle energy somewhere south of 70 foot-pounds, which is miles below the typical 200 foot-pound benchmark for self-defense. Ballistic gel tests using premium loads like Hornady Critical Defense or Spear Gold that usually show penetration of about 10 to 11 inches, which falls short of the 12-inch minimum most folks consider the gold standard. And thanks to its low speed, expansion is rare. Hollow points often act more like full metal jacket rounds, punching straight through without much damage. So why carry one at all? Simple: size. Pistols chambered in 25 automatic Colt pistol are absolutely tiny. They weigh next to nothing, recoil like a kitten, and are dead simple to conceal. Also, being centerfire, they're more reliable than 22 long rifle pistols, which are notorious for misfires, especially in pocket-sized platforms. Still, for those really focused on self-defense, most shooters see 32 automatic Colt pistol as the baseline. But if you're committed to carrying a 25, you can at least juice it up with modern loads. Buffalo Bore has a 60 grain hardcast round that clocks in at about 858 feet per second, pushing close to 98 foot-pounds of energy. That's still modest, but a noticeable upgrade over standard fare. Some folks compare it to the 22 long rifle, especially from a rifle barrel. But when it comes to short barrel pistols, the 25 automatic Colt pistol has the edge in ignition reliability and consistency. If you're going to carry one, make sure your gun can handle the hotter stuff like Buffalo Bore's 60 grain load, and maybe carry a backup plan too. Over in Europe, the 25 automatic Colt pistol is more commonly recognized as the 6.35mm Browning. It gained a fair bit of traction starting in the early 1900s, especially during both world wars. This wasn't a round meant for frontline trenches or firefights, but it sure found a home with officers and civilians who needed a last-ditch emergency pistol. The classic FN Model 1905 earned its reputation for being both reliable and featherweight. It wasn't alone. The Mauser 1914, chambered in 6.35mm, and the Beretta 418 also carved out a role as backup sidearms. These pistols were issued to folks who didn't expect to be storming bunkers, think officers, clerks, or drivers, but still wanted something in their pocket, just in case. Fun fact: in the early novels by Ian Fleming, good old James Bond originally carried a Beretta 418 chambered in 25 automatic Colt pistol before switching over to the Walther PPK in 32 automatic Colt pistol. Fleming had first-hand military intelligence experience from World War II, so that choice of a small caliber pistol wasn't just fiction. It mirrored real-world use cases. Back then, 6.35mm handguns tucked easily into jackets, offering protection without broadcasting that you were packing heat. Sure, they weren't primary battlefield tools, but for low-threat roles, they were perfect. Even within the ranks of the Wehrmacht and Kriegsmarine, compact sidearms like the Mauser Model 1910 and Walther Model 8 made their rounds. No pun intended. These pocket pistols were all about low recoil, ease of concealment, and quick access. The downside? You weren't stopping anyone in body armor. But in the right hands, with the right training, they were better than nothing. And that's how they earned their place. Now, let's touch on another oddball aspect, the case design. Unlike modern self-defense ammo like 9mm Luger, which uses a tapered, rimless casing for buttery, smooth feeding, the .25 Automatic Colt Pistol sticks to its semi-rimmed, straight-walled roots. That means there's a slight lip at the base, just enough to help with head spacing in those blowback-operated pocket pistols. It wasn't just tradition. This design worked well in its day. That slight rim gave older, less precise pistols something to hold on to. Sure, it could cause rim lock in some magazines, when one round's rim catches on another, jamming the whole show, but that's rare if your gun's in good shape. Still, it's something collectors and old-school shooters should keep in mind. Ever heard the term Saturday Night Special? In the 1970s, a wave of ultra-cheap pistols hit the U.S. market, often chambered in .25 Automatic Colt Pistol. Thanks to a group of California-based manufacturers known as the Ring of Fire, we're talking brands like Jennings, Raven, Davis, Lorson, Bryco, and Phoenix Arms. They churned out low-cost, zinc alloy pistols that could be bought for under $100. Take the Jennings J25, for example. Simple blowback design, dirt cheap, and widely available. Meanwhile, a Beretta 950 Jetfire, a much higher quality gun, ran twice the price or more. That price gap made the Ring of Fire guns hugely popular in pawn shops. And unfortunately, in crime scenes. Critics slammed these guns for poor build quality, safety concerns, and unreliable performance. Law enforcement eventually stepped in, pushing for tighter regulations. Legal battles, lawsuits, and political pressure slowly pushed these makers out of business. Still, this era solidified the .25 Automatic Colt Pistol as the cartridge of choice for ultra-budget, last-ditch pistols, even if some buyers had less than legal intentions. Now let's switch to the big screen. The .25 Automatic Colt Pistol isn't exactly the star of blockbuster gunfights, but it's made more than a few appearances. Remember Foxy Brown from 1974? Pam Grier's character rocked a Bauer .25 automatic, quick drawing it when things got hot. In Wonder Boys 2000, Tobey Maguire's character whips one out in a totally out-of-place college setting. Then there's Deadpool, where Ryan Reynolds' character carries a Colt Model 1908 vest pocket, complete with pearl grips. It's more of a joke weapon next to his swords and Desert Eagles, but hey, it's screen time. In Inglourious Bastard, Melanie Lawrence's character hides a tiny pistol for a critical moment, echoing how real resistance fighters relied on concealment. This gun's cinematic role is never about brute force. It's about suspense. The hidden pistol that shows up at the perfect moment. It's the perfect fit for noir, thrillers, and stories where desperation meets discretion. Let's wrap it up with two legendary pistols, the Baby Browning and the Colt Jr. The Baby Browning, refined by Dieudonné Save in 1931, was a sleeker evolution of the original FN Model 1905. Though John Browning had passed, his name carried weight, and the gun earned a solid following for its dependability and micro footprint. The Colt Jr. came along in the late 1950s, first made by Astra in Spain, then domestically by Colt. IT lacked a slide lock, so it wouldn't stay open on an empty mag, but it was simple, slim, and reliable. Both pistols were tailor-made for deep concealment. No frills, no fuss, just pocket-sized insurance. To wrap it all up, look, the .25 Automatic Colt Pistol isn't breaking any ballistic records. It's not a powerhouse, and it was never meant to be. But what it does have is a legacy that's deep, layered, and full of character. From John Moses Browning's original vision to its gritty role in the Ring of Fire era, this tiny round has stuck around far longer than most folks would expect. Got your own take or an old story about a pocket pistol chambered in 6.35mm Browning? Drop it in the comments. We'd love to hear from fellow enthusiasts. And hey, if you enjoyed this breakdown, don't forget to hit that like button, share with your range buddies, and subscribe for more deep dives into the world of classic and modern firearms. Tap that bell icon so you don't miss the next one. Thanks for hanging out with us. We'll see you next time at the bench.